I think there's probably a lot of people in the audience who know SoFi and know what you do. I think of you as attempting to build a modern bank. Why don't you briefly tell us what your business is today for those who might not know?
Sure. Our mission is to help people achieve financial independence, which means they have enough money to do what they want, have children, buy a house, change careers. In order for us to get there, we have to help them get their money right. So we're allowing them to do that on a mobile phone in a member-centric way across borrowing, savings, spending, investing, and protecting. A year ago, we were in really three lending products, and now we have a money account, we have a brokerage account, we provide insurance, and we have really enhanced the member experience so that they're at the center of everything we do.
So started with student loan refinancing, have other lending products now, and then dabbling in some other spaces, which we'll get to. So a little over a year ago, you joined as CEO. You come from Twitter, probably thought there were a lot of crisis moments at Twitter, and then you step in at SoFi, you're replacing a CEO who essentially resigned among a lot of crises, sexual harassment allegations that went overlooked and other things. If I talk to employees at SoFi today who were there for that, what would be the number one thing they would say you have changed that has allowed the company to become sort of, from the outside at least, appear stable?
Yeah, what I'd say is the question they asked me my first week. My first week, Joanne said, you should really go and spend time in all of the outer offices. Don't start in San Francisco. And so we started in Utah, went to Montana, New York, Delaware, and then Hillsburg, and then back to California. And the number one or two question I got in every town hall meeting was, do you think we can build a great culture, and how will you do it? And so the number one thing I think employees would tell you is that we've built the foundation of a great culture. Our goal is to have the best culture in the world, which sounds like a hyperbole, but it's really our goal. My view is it's about leadership, it's about alignment and accountability, and that's allowed us to get more products to market faster than the company ever has. The fact that we launched a native mobile app with these other financial products and they're scaling and really showing the benefits of our strategy is a direct result of holding each other accountable, being gritty, and really making sure we take care of each other to get the job done.
So when I look at the financial services space among the young, fast-growing companies, and I'm looking for what the innovation is, right? I see a lot of financial products that look similar to traditional banks. I see some marketing, at least from the outside, and we'll get to some of that a little later, that looks pretty similar. And so the question I have is, when I look at this, I'm like, is the innovation just putting a smooth digital skin on products that have been around forever? And if so, why does a company like SoFi have a $4 billion valuation on paper, right? So I'm assuming you would disagree with that. What is the innovation that SoFi is actually bringing?
Sure. For us, the innovation is three parts. One is we're trying to create a product that in function and form is completely different than what exists. So when I say put the member at the center of what we're doing, we ask ourselves, what are they going to hire us to do? Well, they're going to hire us to help them get their money right. They're not hiring us to take out a mortgage. They're hiring us to borrow money to buy a house. And they're hiring us to manage their money. And they're hiring us to help them move their money. So we don't call our account a checking account or savings account, because that's not what we built. What we built is
you're not a bank.
What we built was an account where you can put your money, earn high interest at 2.25%, pay zero fees, pay anyone you want, whenever you want, in any way you want. That doesn't exist. Everyone has at least two accounts, checking and savings. You don't need two accounts. You have one with SoFi. So that product in itself is evolutionary. The other piece of it that's unique is you never have to talk to anyone or go see anyone. It's all available in a mobile app with all of our other products. And so when you become a SoFi member, we are taking that technology and integrating it to all of our products. And so when you use one product like Money, you're then able to sign up for another product very fast and easy, like Invest. Both products, no fees, and really unique value proposition. No one else has.
What's the catch?
There's no catch. We're really transparent about our business model. So within Invest, we're the only place you can buy stocks, ETFs. We have 4 of our own ETFs that are specifically built for millennials and what they're trying to do, as well as robo accounts, and we'll launch cryptocurrency in the future. We don't charge any fees or commissions. In fact, we launched the first 2 ETFs with no fees whatsoever. We make money in a B2B way based on cash sweeps for interest, order flow, margin if they want to take out loans, and then there's other revenue streams that will be premium revenue streams down the road, like a freemium model. And within SoFi Money, we make money on the exchange of the debit card or how you transact like anyone else. But we didn't build the business around revenue. We built it around their needs. So we don't have a lot of the revenue streams the big banks do, but we also don't have a lot of the costs.
So you walk in a year ago, and I think back then even the company's valued at $4 billion on paper. I get the sense that you had to reset some expectations internally. And if you look at the company's numbers today, I think this past quarter, from what I've seen, looked like the first quarter in a year that sort of loan volume had increased sequentially. What was your message to the board about where the company was compared to what they thought when you walked in?
Sure. I met with the board in late December. I received the offer around that time, and I spent a week or two doing a lot of due diligence. And I went to the board and said, we're going to have to reset your expectations on volume of loans, and we're going to have to accelerate our pace of innovation in these other products if we're truly going to capture this mission that I pitched to you as part of the CEO search process. So last year we focused on quality over quantity of loans. That's a shorthand way of saying the company had underwritten a lot of loans that weren't profitable. And so we went back to unit economics. How much do we make per loan? And tried to get that amount back to a 40 to 50% variable profit margin. We were able to do that through better marketing, better pricing, better credit by the third quarter. And we're back to 40 to 50% variable profit margin, which is a huge LTV. That's critically important to the rest of our strategy because we want to bring people in through daily products like Money, like Invest, like Relay, and insurance. And when they come in through those daily products and our content, they then eventually do other things with us. We already see a 20% cross-buying rate without us even mentioning loans to people who have signed up for the Money product, and 15% cross-buying from Invest to loans, again, without us even mentioning it. It's just in the app and available for
It's still to be clear, very early days with the new non-lending products.
We just went general availability for Money on February 8th and for Invest on February 20th, and we really haven't spent a lot of marketing. We just started referrals and virality in the last couple of weeks, so it's been a real validation of the strategy. But when I sat with the board, I said, we're going to have to take our volume down. We'll get the loan volume up. We'll get the loan quality up, and when people start cross-buying, we'll benefit from having that great LTV. And oh, by the way, if a recession comes and we have to hold loans, they're going to perform really well because we focused on quality instead of quantity.
I was going to ask about a recession because it seems like we've been expecting one for years now. Media industry loves to talk about it all the time, both internally and externally. How prepared can you be for that? As sort of a venture-backed company?
Sure, you have to be really prepared. We spent all of last year focusing on quality to make sure the loans were durable through the economic cycle. So we have also done a few things with our balance sheet. We have $6 billion of warehouse facilities that fund our loans. In addition to that, we were able to go out and secure an unsecured line of credit for $550 million, which is covenant light, which basically means you could draw it down and there's really nothing the banks can do if you do that. It's not secured by anything. And then we just raised $500 million of more capital. So we had $1.8 billion of capital. Now we have $2.3 billion plus the $550 million line of credit, which puts us close to $3 billion of capital. And then we have the benefit of the $6 billion of warehouse facilities. So we think we're well prepared for an environment that gets more uncertain. We expect life of loan losses to go up in an uncertain environment, and we'll be more prudent about credit.
And so that may mean taking that volume down again? Like, what are the actual? How does that manifest itself?
I actually think in those types of environments, we may be able to be more aggressive because we're so well capitalized. We'll be able to take market share and do it when you're starting with a 40 to 50% variable profit margin, it gives you a lot to play with on pricing and structure. And when you have the capital that we have and the distribution that we have in the securitization market, I use an analogy all the time. I'm a mechanical engineering major, so I try to use these physical analogies to get people to understand. The team built a process and a vehicle that can break the sound barrier. We have the highest octane fuel in the world, which is the capital.
Wait, start over again?
we built a machine that can break the sound barrier.
Okay.
Right? If you think about what that takes,
hear that right.
You have to build it. You have to build an aircraft that's aerodynamically capable of doing that. You have to design turbines that have very thin fins, and you have to use a fuel that burns very quickly and turns those turbines very, very quickly. And what we have is an operations center that can process more than $12 billion of loan volume and do that for personal loans in 3 days from application to funding, student loans in 12 days from application to funding, can then distribute $3 billion a quarter through Wall Street to get that off of our books. And the capital that we have is the fuel. So the machine is the operations center, the fuel and the distribution are the other key elements to get there. And it's really hard to build. And we actually think going into recession is going to have a shakeout, and we'll benefit because we're so capitalized and we have this great machine.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk about that when that happens. Today, I don't know whether I am or not your target audience, but I bank with Chase. I don't think they're a sponsor, so I could say that. I don't go into a branch often. Their app is fine. Are you betting on, sorry, it's a little above fine. Are you betting on converting people like me, or where is your sweet spot?
Yeah, our target is millennials and Gen Zs. We're focused on high earners, not well served. It'll go beyond that.
I'm a journalist, so okay, well, one of those is out.
You are a high earner, not well served.
Okay.
So you're in the right demographic economically, and the right demographic from an age and income standpoint. That demo has really been left to figure it out on their own. One of the things that got me so passionate about joining SoFi was a video I saw of a gentleman crying about his admiration for the business and what it did for he and his wife. And he basically said, SoFi refinanced our debt so we had the confidence and the financial independence to have children. And he was a doctor and his wife was a lawyer. How could that possibly be the case? They've killed it academically, they've killed it professionally, and they didn't have the financial foundation to have children. And other people can't have houses or have the career that they want. And so that's the opportunity for us, and that's what made me passionate about the company. A lot of people don't know this about my background, but my mom and dad got divorced when I was 3. My mom never graduated from high school. She became a beautician. She built her own business. She added tanning beds. She added workout equipment in the late 70s before any of that stuff was popular. We went from being on welfare and food stamps and free lunch kids, living in the projects, sleeping together in the same beds, to a townhouse, to a nice house, living in the best school district, going to school, all these great, smart kids that were competitive because they're the sons and daughters of IBM children. And it changed our lives. Well, that American dream doesn't exist today. You can't find your way to a great house and being able to have as many kids as you want and living in the area you want, because there's a big void in taking care of people that have done well academically, done well professionally, and $150,000 just isn't enough to have all those elements that my mom was able to go from not having a high school education to providing us with everything we've ever wanted in life. And it's a foundation that we're really passionate about, and we think we can serve people well in that demographic. And in order for them to get their money right, we have to do it in all 5 of those areas. And if we don't, we're not going to have the right solution for the right person at the right time.
So if you search SoFi on Google today, still on the first page, you'll see a bunch of questions about SoFi. And one of them is SoFi legit, right? You handle people's money. I'm going to state the obvious, pretty big responsibility. I'm assuming having that question no longer be a question is something you need to spend a lot of time and money on. So I'll get to the question.
Yeah.
There's been reports recently that you all may spend $400 million over 20 years to put SoFi name on a new football stadium in Los Angeles. Actually, I don't have a question. What's your?
There's a lot there. Let me take them in pieces. First is
let's start with the news stuff.
Let's start with legit first. I actually love seeing that, and I'll tell you why. We're creating products that are too good to be true. How many people have a checking account? Raise your hand. Keep your hand up if you also have a savings account, but a different account. Keep your hand up if you also have an investment account, but a different account. If you have a SoFi account, you don't have to keep your hand up past the first question I asked. We have one place to do all those things. And not only do we have one place to do all those things, why do you need to pay to invest your money? We don't charge you to invest. In fact, we don't charge you to take out a loan. We give you money at an interest rate that's better than anyone place else on the loans. We charge you nothing. We let you invest and charge you nothing. And then in our money account, we're giving you 2.25% interest on all of your money, and you don't have to leave it there. You can take it whenever you want, and we don't charge you anything when you take it. So when I see is SoFi legit, it's actually a good question. It's too good to be true, and I want to keep seeing it there.
It's a great question.
But it also does highlight the reality, and the reality is people don't know who we are. They don't know the products that we have. So our unaided brand awareness is 2%. I've said to our board in January, it's a matter of when, not if. It's a matter of when we achieve our mission, not if we achieve our mission. All the products are ready to go, and they're incredibly differentiated. And if you compare them side by side, in some type of comparison, they're by far better products. They're faster, they're better features, better content, member experiences, more than just finance, free certified financial planners, free career advice, free member events, networking, professional, et cetera. But we have to make people know who we are, and we have to build trust. And if we can't build trust with them, they're not going to consider us. And so our number one challenge is building trust and consideration, and we need to get the unaided brand awareness to 15 or 20%, and then we'll be batting with the top 10 banks in the world, and that's our objective. So to your question about the rumors about the stadium in Los Angeles, I'm not going to comment specifically on those other than to say sports is a really critical element to our success. Our target audience is millennials and Gen Z. They're not showing up for appointment television, they're not showing up for dramas and sitcoms, they're not even on TVs. Sports, live entertainment is things they'll watch. Also, live sports and live entertainment is still the best place to find a large unduplicated audience. And we want to be credentialized by their brands. We want people to trust us because those brands are trusting us. So we sponsor the X Games, we sponsor the Big Ten and Big East basketball conference championships, the U.S. Open, U.S. Golf Open, U.S. Tennis Open, Australian Open, because it gives us an association with a trusted brand that they can relate to, and that builds the awareness. And then we have to, come to them over and over with high frequency through performance marketing. So the branded marketing and performance have to work together, and if they don't, we won't be successful.
So for people who saw those rumors, which were printed in a bunch of very reputable publications, and said, oh, Anthony used to be the CFO of the NFL, he's a big football fan, did that play a big role versus how much this makes sense overall? You would say?
What I'd say is any property that can build awareness for us with a large unduplicated audience is something that we're going to consider. When I was at Twitter, we did live Thursday Night Football, and a lot of people didn't understand why we did it. And we needed the world to know that it was a different experience, and something like the NFL can build that awareness, and that becomes pretty powerful. And so if there are brands or entities that can build large unduplicated audiences, we have to look at those because they'll be more efficient than us doing a lot of fragmented things. And so it's about strategy. It's how do we build trust and awareness in a most efficient way possible, and there's a lot of properties out there we could partner with to do that.
We're going to take some audience questions. If you have some, I can't see any mics. I don't think we have anyone up there yet, but feel free. There are a couple mics there. I'll keep going for a couple minutes, and you could just shout out if you have one. So in the financial services space, among younger companies, new breed of companies, there are public companies like Square, which is mostly B2B, but also dabbling with the Cash App. In consumer finance, there's companies like Robinhood, there's Wealthfront. What is the high level of differentiation for SoFi? Because all these organizations have really smart people, really smart tech teams. How do you win?
Yeah. So I'm going to use big macros as opposed to specifics, because then I'll be telling you exactly what we're doing that's different. But we try to differentiate on fast, selection, content, and convenience. And selection is not having every product, but within a product, having the price points and the features that when you lay them out versus those other products, we are superior in every way. Because we have the scale, the brand, and the capital, we can be much more aggressive in interest rates. We can be much more aggressive, both interest rates that we charge on loans and the interest rates we give on money, or the fees that we charge people. And we built it on one technology platform. So when you go to our mobile app, all the tabs are there, all of the content is there, and all of the products are there. And we never want to take the same information from you more than once. When you call in, we want you to feel like you're talking to the same person every time you have questions. We never want to pass you off after you have questions about your debit account, if you have a question on your mortgage. And we want to have these events where we're building tangible relationships, and that also helps build trust. So we're taking a holistic approach across fast, selection, content, and convenience. And there's a lot more detail below each one of those four macros, but that's what we're focused on.
Thought I saw, we have a question right here. Yeah, please tell us who you are. Thanks.
Bert Blackarack, and I think I got a silly question, but I'm not sure.
Nope. No silly questions.
I wire money into the account and I want to get cash out. Where do I get the cash out, and are there ATM fees?
We refund 100%. So we'll send you a debit card and ATM card,
Okay.
and you can use that ATM card anywhere in the world, and we'll refund 100% of the ATM card. So not only do we not charge fees, we actually refund fees to you if someone else charges you. Second, you could send that money to a different bank account if you wanted to. You could also just pay with your phone because the debit card's integrated into Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay. So you don't really have to take the cash out unless you want to pay somebody cash.
Right.
And if you don't want to pay somebody cash, you can do P2P payments. So in the app, you click on the Money tab. It has transfer money via ACH. It has pay a bill. It has person-to-person payments. And then obviously we will send a check for you also if you want us to.
Wow. I'm dying to leave Wells Fargo, so that's a good sell.
Hey, can you ask more questions?
I'm gonna end with a question you probably won't love, but we'll go there anyway. So you raised $500 million this year.
I didn't filibuster enough, did I?
No, you didn't. And I see the zeros, but I don't care. So raised $500 million this year, right?
Yes.
From investment arm of the Qatari government. There are a lot of very public concerns about government and potential relationships, terrorist organizations, human rights issues. A big investor reflects, I would assume, you think, on your company. Why were you okay taking that money?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have the number of investors and the types of investors we have that are buying into our long-term mission and really giving us the leeway to make some big bets and move aggressively. QIA, we think a lot about what type of investors we want, and the first thing and most important thing for us is, do they buy into our mission? Do they buy into our core values, the culture we're trying to build? And our core values, we have 11 of them. They're available for people to see. I'm incredibly proud of the team building those and living them every day. And then, of course, our strategy. And when we met with them, they really were passionate about what we were trying to do, and we think bring a lot of perspective to the table to help us get to where we need to go. And we thought a lot about it, and we thought they'd be great investors in our company and make us better and help us accomplish our mission and have a huge impact on people's lives. So none of these decisions are easy, but that's how we thought about it.
And so, sounds more about the people and whether you believe what they're saying and how they can help you than potentially what's potentially behind that money.
Yeah, it was definitely about the people and them buying into what we're trying to do and giving us a better chance of getting there and being aligned with our core values, and they are. So there are definitely people that are a lot more educated or well-versed in some of the more challenging topics than I am, but we're happy that they were investing, and we're happy to have them at the table with us.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony.
Great. Thank you.